Is the misgendering of someone a human rights violation? If someone is transgender and you refer to this transgender woman as a man or fail to take into account the particular gender that has been displayed, is that subject to a civil rights or human rights or criminal violation? Now, let's assume you just mistake somebody. You think that a man is a woman or that a woman is a man, and they're not transgender. You just get it wrong. What if you misrace someone? You think they're black, but they're white, or they're biracial. What difference does this make? Do you think that this is in any way, or should it be construed as a deliberate form of human rights violation? Now, think about this. Think how you would have to even remotely deal with this. Now, the story involves this transgender actress, Tommy Dorfman. Tommy, is that a misapplication? I don't know. It's a free country, whatever it is. And she, I guess, I don't want to violate this, accused Delta Airlines workers of committing a human rights violation after misgendering her during a row of sorts that went viral, I think, through the libs of TikTok, and everybody went berserk. Now, Dorfman, who starred in the Netflix tour de force 13 Reasons Why, apparently uploaded this clip, so it's kind of out of context, perhaps, of the confrontation in her TikTok account. And the footage apparently shows some form of her, Dorfman, accusing the staff of misgendering her, referring to her by the wrong pronouns multiple times, alleging that it was done so intentionally. Now, this gets down to, before you immediately laugh this off, in Canada, I believe, and I believe also in California, of all places, there is something that is against the law, which can be construed where you deliberately, intentionally, knowingly misidentify someone as something. Now, this is the most amazing thing in the world. What if you called Barack Obama white? Is that why would that? Is he white, or is he black, or is he biracial? What if you use the wrong term just out of, I don't know, slip of the tongue or whatever? But more importantly, if I don't like pronouns, if I don't want to call you miss or ma'am and I call you, or my favorite now, you guys, is you guys. If I say guy, does guy imply male? Do you see how silly this is? If I'm going to deny you human rights for purposes of employment, for purposes of job opportunities, where I am denying your rights because I am refusing to acknowledge your transgender status, I can see that. But a slip of the tongue, a misgendering, especially in this case, some poor guy at a plane counter, ticket counter, who may not be that hip, who may not understand all of the subtleties and the references to what is and is not okay and what is and is not a reference to. I mean, this is some serious, serious stuff. Is this where we're going? You bet. Now, the issue also is, let's talk about libs of TikTok. There are people who artificially pretend like they care about this. I'm telling you, most people, unless you're in the particular world, the framework of application of gender, or if you've been the victim of that, most people do not care about this. But like with climate change, they pretend they care about it. To listen to them, you would think this is the most important thing in the world. Is libs of TikTok missing the point? I happen to be a big fan of libs of TikTok. I like the way they expose a lot of lunacy. But I do recognize the fact that there are people who deserve to be treated carefully, carefully, but fairly, I should say. And that deliberate misapplication, I think it could. Not in this case. Here's the real problem that nobody wants to address. This is the problem that nobody wants to deal with. Let me see if I can explain this to you. There is an attitude, a snooty, snippy, pursed, curt, very exasperated, excuse me, but I believe you're... It's like a Karen-esque, or a Kevin, depending upon your application. It's a kind of a, I have caught you in a societal faux pas. You have misapplied the applicable gender, and I'm going to have your job. It's kind of a, do you know who I am? And I think you must understand, you must recognize the fact that you have used the wrong pronoun. And by the way, it's not he or she, it's, that's my intergalactic pronoun. That people who want to, and this Dorfman, by uploading this, just loves this, right? Loves the whole idea, like, look at the ignominy, look at the opprobrium, look at the shame, look what I had to go through. Can you believe this? In viewing an out of context, perhaps video, I don't know, but she, Dorfman, uploaded this, so that's all I have. I don't think it's in any way indicative of anything that is intentional. I don't think it is a violation of any kind of human rights. It's a mistake. Did your mother ever call you the wrong name? Did your mother ever call you your sister's name or your brother's name? People sometimes make a mistake. There's this thing, and they mean nothing by it. They mean nothing by it. Sometimes they do. Now, I do think you got to understand something, that in the year 2024, I can't believe I'm saying this, but in the year 2024, people are going to have to realize that there are new crops and new aspects and new passels and new groups of people that must be recognized, and that who must be given a wide berth, so to speak. They should be recognized. I have no problem with that whatsoever. I have no problem. If you do not like the word, listen, I'm old enough to remember when black folks were called colored, and then Negro, and then Afro-American, and then African-American, and then people of color. And I've seen how through history, through societal evolution, words transmogrify, they change, whatever. I've seen this. I dig it. I understand it. I understand how it works, and I understand how it, I understand. I just get it, okay? When you apply a law, now the lawyer in me comes in, and I'm going to say, now that you have put civil or criminal and or federal liability at something, you have the most incredible burden available, not to show that you were embarrassed or that you were hurt or that you were somehow rebuffed or whatever, but that this was intentionally done with the intention of depriving you of some enumerated statutory right. Instances like this do more harm to the cause of transgenders. I am in New York City. I have seen every permutation of humanity there is. I don't know if it's transgender or if it's a man dressed as a woman or a woman dressed as a man. I don't know if they even, I couldn't tell you. They used to call them transvestites. I've seen this. It's no big deal. I'm very live and let live. This is me, and I think society should be as well. But when you play this punctilious, persnickety, this very, oops, you said the wrong word, and with this attitude of, excuse me, I'm recording this, and I want you to know that you have violated. That's when I say, okay, that's it. I'm done. Nobody's serious about this. This is just kind of a gotcha moment. Maybe this is a chance for publicity. It's like Dave Chappelle dropping the mic. Does he really have to drop the mic? Come on, these people paid money to see you, and you got miffed over this. Hey, you have a folk, have the guy taken out of the audience and beaten to a pulp. I don't care. But this is where we are. We have this new theater of social media theater where we want to share everything, and that's why we get Karens on planes, Karens with the cops, Karens and Kevins and neighbors, and it's all carried out in this dramatic faux theater of social media nonsense. So the bottom line is this. Is there any evidence based upon the evidence that has been adduced of any kind of intentional violation? Absolutely not. Is this a waste of time? Absolutely. Because there are real examples of not misgendering, but transgenders who are being deprived of rights that are guaranteed not as a transgender, but as a human being and as a U.S. citizen. That's what we should be paying attention to. All right, my friend, what do you think? Please put your thoughts in comments. Please, of course, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I want to hear, what do you think about this? And be honest, be courteous, but don't misgender me. Don't forget, my pronouns are, which is difficult to spell. I think it's either a PF, like the name Joanne Flug. Anyway, I digress. A comment as you see fit.